Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Based Mother Show. I'm Elena Barbera, and we've got a big Friday night ahead here. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to get into the epidemic of violence Americans are facing from illegal aliens. We're going to have a visit from my fellow Patriots Prayer Network show hosts, Alexandra Levine, and later Eddie Smith's coming on to talk about the Russians out my window. And my favorite story of the week, James O'Keefe's exposing of the real evil empire, Disney. Yeah, crazy stuff is going on at Disney. Plenty more. Let's get to it.
Have you heard of the Based Mother?
All right, we're back. Joe Biden's border policy, or rather his let's not bother to have a border policy. Regular people like you and me, we're facing an onslaught of violent crime and murder brought to us by illegal alien invaders. The White House, excuse me. They want us to call them newcomers, but that's not the word that comes to mind when I'm thinking about murder and rape and vehicular homicide and assault and robbery. If you watch the left-wing media, you would think that people like me and the way I'm talking right now, that I'm just fear-mongering and making stuff up. Let's see what Joy Reid has to say.
Here's the three cable networks reporting of this. Was our banner said, soon Biden announces legal protections for undocumented spouses of U.S. citizens. CNN's banner said, Biden announces new protections for some undocumented spouses. Here was Fox's banner, migrant arrested for raping 13-year-old New York City.
Yes.
And so I think that's part of the problem, right?
Exactly.
Is that you have
That's
a lot
part
of
the
fear-mongering.
Exactly.
Hi, everybody. I just dropped my camera, and I'm going to be right back. Dead serious. You can hear me, right? So this is what happens when you don't have a tech person and you're doing things yourself. And as my son would say, when you're a boomer. So, because I can't wait to tell you about what I'm about to tell you about. Can you see me now? Oh, brother. We're back. Okay. All right. So, it's a little bit of a bummer that happened because there was a thing I wanted to point out to you right at the end of that, at that clip. Did you hear the laugh at the end of the clip after she mentioned the young girl being raped by an illegal alien? Like, these people are sickos. They're sick. So, it's obvious that the left-wing media is just trying to help the Democrats buy votes when where they could just help people cut the line into citizenships, buy votes, and keep winning elections and keep destroying America. That's for whatever reason they want us to become some sort of a communist, horrible place. But, they say conservative media, if you can still call Fox News conservative media, is fear-mongering. But it's not fear-mongering. It's just facts. Here's a little ditty I put together last week about the reality Americans are facing. You, me, and all the people I'm about to tell you about were just collateral damage in Joe Biden's war against America. He abandoned national border security, and we're paying the price with our lives. Here's just a start on the accounting. This trio of illegals from Guatemala, they kidnapped and gang raped a deaf woman in Santa Fe. This mother and son in Colorado were killed by a drunk driver who was here illegally. At a birthday party in Northborough, Massachusetts, these illegals shot this 16-year-old to death. Another kid at the party was shot and he survived. I guess that's not so bad considering. All of this was easily preventable, by the way. Wisconsin. An illegal from Nicaragua tied up, blindfolded, and raped a 12-year-old girl after paying her mother to spend some time with the girl. This is our country. This piece of garbage, he kidnapped women in this white van and he took them to the mountains outside of San Bernardino where he raped them. The cops said the van was outfitted as a rape dungeon. Thanks a lot. Thanks for this one, Joe. Oh, on a lighter note, 84% of Chicago's recent measles outbreak cases were traced right back to unvaccinated Venezuelan illegals. No biggie. Let's not forget Travis Wolf, the 12-year-old boy who was killed by this illegal when she was driving on the wrong side of the road. This is what the last days of Travis's life looked like. Have you heard enough yet? Too bad, we're not done. 2 cops in Queens were shot by another one of Joe's guests. But Joe hates cops, so this probably doesn't even rank as collateral damage. Oh, and be on the lookout for this guy. ICE had him in custody, and when he came across the border from Colombia, and they knew, they had his record, they knew he was a convicted killer, but they let him go free to roam the country, supposedly because they didn't have enough bed space for him. Yeah, good luck out there. This is more collateral damage waiting to happen. Oh, how about the disabled girl in Massachusetts who was raped by this illegal from Haiti? And of course, we can't forget Laken Riley, who was out for a jog when she was brutally beaten and strangled to death by this psychopath, another one of Joe Biden's special guests from Venezuela. We could do this all day. That's all pretty terrible. But since I posted that video on Instagram just last week, we've gotten word of even more horrific crimes committed by illegals in America. So I'm already having to put together a sequel. It's going to include the El Salvadorian illegal who killed Rachel Warren, Maryland mother of 5. It's going to include the 2 Venezuelans who raped, strangled, and dumped the body of a 12-year-old girl in Texas. Raped, strangled, murdered her, dumped her near the bank of a stream. Her name was Jocelyn Nungare. And that guy, he was let loose by Border Patrol just a few weeks ago. And he said he felt unsafe at home and he had to come to America. We've got more collateral damage. A 64-year-old man named Scott Miller in Colorado. He was killed by an illegal who was driving a semi-truck over the speed limit and lost control. So, yeah, illegals are just like hanging out on American roads, driving semis. That's happening. Yeah, go for a drive. Feel real safe, right? Let's not forget the 14-year-old. This is a pretty new story too. She was kidnapped by 5 illegals in Indiana, and they were taking her to California to traffic her. And thank God, by the grace of God, she had her cell phone with her, and her parents tracked her cell phone, and they tracked down the vehicle she was in. Now, she's safe. She's back with her family, but nobody has heard yet what happened to this kid while she was in the car with these 5 men. We don't know. Like, as a parent, the thought of that happening to my child, any of that happening to my child is just mind blowing. But I'm trying to put myself back into the skin of, 14-year-old Elena, and how absolutely horrifying it must be to have 5 strange, creepy, horrible, evil men grab me, put me in a car, and try to take me somewhere. This is what our kids are facing. I mean, every single day we're hearing more stories, all perpetrated by the same people who shouldn't be here. If they came in through the front door, maybe they would have been vetted, but Joe Biden's just letting them all in. Everybody can come in. Oh, the 13-year-old in Queens, in New York, she was bound and gagged by an Ecuadorian illegal, and he raped her. And he didn't just rape her, he filmed it. So she's still alive. So when she goes to court to face him, she's going to have to watch the film of her own rape in court. Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Joe. This is great. I'm not fear mongering, by the way. Americans have legitimate reasons to be on edge and afraid. Anyway, no one's coming to save us, not anytime soon. Even if Trump wins the election, he still won't be inaugurated for another 7 months from now. And then what? And then this big deportation, that's going to take time. We're looking at least another year of increasing violence and sheer hell for our women and children. Just wait and see. As Americans start defending themselves against these people, see whose rights are protected. It ain't going to be ours. Mark my words. Anyway, talk to me in the comments. I want to hear, what do you guys think about mass deportation? Like, what does everybody out here have to say about this? Let me take a look here. It's effing horrible. Yeah. Forward assist. It sure is. Americans keep hiring them. Yeah. Send them all back. F them, get rid of all of them. Yeah. Mass deport. Okay. You guys, I'm preaching to the choir here. We all agree. And it's not racist to say that we want to raise our children in a safe, decent society where we're not worried about being raped and mugged or killed by somebody driving, an accident. So in the video, I talked about Travis Wolf killed by the car. I talked about that mother and son in Colorado killed by an illegal behind the wheel of a car. And I just told you about Scott Miller in Colorado. We're not safe walking down the street. We're not safe driving down the street. We're not safe in our own homes. This is the most unsafe. I've been here for a long time in America. Add a fine or a fee to the host nation's national debt. Well, yeah, good luck collecting that. All right, guys. I'm gonna lighten up a little, I guess. It's not really my style, is it? We're gonna talk about a little segment that I want to add to every show called Truth Be Told, where I like to shed some light on lies told by the media or politicians, whoever. Everybody's lying all day long. This lie happens to be the one that woke me all the way up, like to the avalanche of lies that are coming at us from every angle all day long. Yeah. I was asleep. I got to be honest. I was just like asleep on autopilot, going about my life, focused on the things that mattered to me and my family, just blindly trusting that all the government things were running the way they should. If I complained about the government, it was like the DMV is inefficient. That was it. I was out to lunch. And that's what got us into this mess as a country, by the way. People like me, citizens like me who are on autopilot, consumed with their daily lives and their favorite soap operas. And while we were distracted, the devils took over our government and our media. And here we are. You may have a similar story. Actually, I would love to know when you woke up. But now, at this point, if you're here with me on a Friday night, you're probably already a little bit awake to it, if not all the way awake. And it hurts. I mean, the truth hurts. It's much better, to just not know. But I hate it. I hate what I see. But the ignorance, might have been bliss, but I wouldn't go back to it for anything. Not at all. I'm up, I'm wide awake, and I'm only getting more wide awake, not going backwards. So come on down memory lane with me. Let's go back to 2017. Donald Trump ignoring a young disabled boy in a wheelchair, as reported by the liberal media. This is the video that was shown all over the news and internet. This is some annoying stuff here, but I'm so glad I saw it.
Thank you, everybody, very much.
Pretty awful, huh? Ignoring a little disabled kid. No, not really, because that's not what actually happened.
The 45th President of the United States of America, President Donald Trump.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, look at that. The first person Trump went to when he walked into the room was the young disabled boy. And he spent a moment with him before he decided to take the podium. Only later did he go around and say hello to everyone else. He treated the kid like a VIP, but they cut the clip and made him out to be a callous, selfish, cruel man. Because that's what they do. And that was the moment I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that the talking heads were just full of it. And I started looking into everything they told me after that. And then they locked me in the house for a year, and so I had nothing but time. Oh, I got plenty of time now to double check your story. And it was all malarkey. Trying to be clean here. if you want to drop something in the comments, let me know what was your moment. I'll get back to those in a second. But right now, I actually have something fun for us here. We have Alexandra Levine from Alex 360 on the Patriots Pro Network. She is in the waiting room, and she's going to come right up right about now.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, Alexandra. Thank you so much for coming to hang out tonight.
No, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
So let's talk about that clip, those clips I just showed. Like, what do you think about those clips? And also, did you have an aha moment, or were you just born this way, like just already tuned in?
Well, I can tell you about the clip with the disabled young children, because I have been at rallies and events with President Trump where he has addressed a lot of people with disabilities, a lot of kids with Down syndrome. He comes up to them right away. He kisses them on the forehead, and he doesn't look above you. He doesn't look behind you. He treats you like he's known you for 20 to 40 years. And I encourage everybody to go to President Trump's rallies, because you feel like you've been his best friend for 20 years. That's just who he is. And in regards to the illegal immigration problem of this country, in this country right now, it is disgusting. And I do a lot of work in the Maryland area. So when I heard about what happened with Rachel, it's just, the whole thing is like, do we have to wait for legal citizens of our country, Americans, to be murdered to say, oh my God, we have a problem? How many more people have to die for somebody to do something, like Joe Biden to do something, or governors of the states, or mayors of the states or the cities to do something? This has gotten out of control, completely out of control. And if we don't stop it right away, it's just going to get worse. And that's why we need President Trump back in the White House.
We do, but like I said, so two things, like we're getting governors and mayors. They will, if we're lucky, put out a statement about the violence. Oh, this is so terrible. Where, our hearts are with the family, of the young girls who were raped and murdered. And that's all we're getting. We're not getting any action. We're not getting any one of them saying enough is enough. All these people have to go, because the way I see it, I don't care if we're throwing out the baby with the bathwater, but the bathwater's got to go. And then anybody that's good and can contribute something to this country can come back in through the front door later. That's not an unreasonable take. And most Americans are really starting to wake up to that. But Trump getting back in the office, like I said earlier, I'm really still terrified about the fact that, we still got a year of hell or more ahead of us. And that's just on this one front. We have so many other things that he's going to have to fix. I hear a lot of people be like, well, it'll all be better as soon as Trump is back in office. And it's like, it's not going to be that simple or that fast. I mean, it's what we need. But we can't put on rose-colored glasses and think it's just going to flip a switch and we're going to have our country back.
Well, I think, honestly, it's the people that he's going to have in power. And I know President Trump, being an outsider in now, he's really heavily vetting the people that he wants in his cabinet and people that he wants to protect the border and work on the border. I personally know former Director of ICE Thomas Homan. He's a personal friend of mine. And he actually went to Israel with my Jexit organization. Jexit Inc. is an organization I'm a part of, with Siggy Flicker. Michelle Lubin-Terrace is the president, and Siggy Flicker is our spokesperson. And, Thomas Homan getting back in, being the ICE director, or even being the DHS secretary, that is one of the biggest things that, he is going to do. And because it's Thomas Homan, because it's proper people like that are going to get back in the cabinet or work or be the ICE director or work with Border Patrol. They're going to crack down. If people don't do their job, they will fire them. President Trump has no problem going in there and just cleaning house. And that's why they're so afraid of him. And that's why they're doing everything they can to make sure he doesn't get back in office.
Yeah, I hope you're right, because I think the first time he came into office, he tried to play nice. I think he thought that he could use diplomacy and get along with some of the swamp monsters. And I think he knows now how much they have it out for him and the American people. And I do think he will come in, with a heavier hand and use his, famous "you're fired" phrase a lot more liberally. I hope so. Anyway, I hope you're right about that. And I'm glad to hear that you're kind of you have some closer up insight for the rest of us. I appreciate that.
Thank you. I was going to say, as a Jewish person, most Jewish people vote Democrat. So one of the biggest missions of the organization that I work with is Jews exiting the Democratic Party and never looking back. And we see with October 7th, and that's why I'm wearing the shirt, I Stand With Israel. You're going to see a lot more Jewish people vote Republican. I've seen a lot of Jewish people actually switch parties to Republican from Democrat and Independent because they've had enough. They've had enough of the anti-Semitism. There's huge anti-Semitism in this country. And I feel that anti-Semitism and the illegal immigration, they go together hand in hand. So again, it's about getting the proper people back in office, getting a proper Secretary of State back into office to continue the Abraham Accords, which need to be finished and continued. And you're going to see, you see it now. You see a lot of the Black community, they're going to vote for Trump in November. You see a lot of the Hispanic community that is going to vote for Trump in November because of the illegal immigration problem. So you're going to start to see that.
Young people are coming around. They're waking up. They've had enough of all this insanity. Yeah, it's really happening. I have a question for you though. Since before I let you go, you're pretty well versed on the Israel issue, and I was talking to a Jewish friend today who was saying, she just can't understand why so many people support Netanyahu. He's got to go. She seems to still be firmly in the Democrat camp. What do you say to somebody when they come at you with something like that?
Well, you have to kind of get away from the propaganda. There's a lot of false reporting about him and about what's going on over there. I personally advise people to talk to Israelis, to talk to people that are serving in the Israeli Defense Force today. And also I encourage people to go on Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu's Twitter, the President of Israel's Twitter, the IDF's Twitter, and actually see, and a lot of it is in English because a lot of Israelis, they speak English, to actually read and see in real time what's going on over there, because there's so many media outlets, especially the mainstream media, that is reporting negatively of what's going on there. Prime Minister Netanyahu has the majority right now. If there was an election in Israel held today, he'd win the majority again. He is doing the job right now that he needs to be doing a great job, to be honest with you. I come at it from a different perspective because I am a direct descendant of a prime minister of Israel. Moshe Sharet is my relative. He was the second prime minister of Israel, the first foreign minister of Israel. So I look at that as someone who has family that was in the Israeli parliament, and how as a prime minister, as my family, as Moshe Sharet was the prime minister, what would he do in this situation? So I look at it from that perspective. Honestly, you have to literally go to Israel and see, what's going on. I've had tons of friends, people invite me to go. I encourage people of all different faiths to go to really get the experience and to meet the prime minister personally. And he's actually coming to Congress July 24th. Yeah. It's the fourth time that he's coming. It's very historic. I'll be there. And you want anybody who is interested in what's going on over there, they need to hear it from his mouth, and they need to watch that broadcast.
I'm certainly going to watch that broadcast. It's good advice. Just follow them all on Twitter. Like hear information firsthand for yourself. Because that just kind of goes with like where I started this conversation. The media just manipulates and twists and spins, gets people to think whatever they want. Before I let you go though, tell me a little bit about your show. You're on the network, the Patriots Prayer Network, 6 o'clock Tuesday, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern, every Tuesday night. And what's your show about? What can people expect when they?
Sure. So my show is called Alexander 360. So it is literally a global education show. So we talk about local issues, national issues, and international issues. I want my viewers to be educated. And my family has taglines, youarenoidiot.com. So I always say at the end of my show, and the reason you watch and the reason you listen is you are no idiot. Meaning I want people to come out from watching my show being educated. And I actually get educated from the guests that I have on my show too. So I have multiple different guests that are either in the political arena or they're in the music industry, the entertainment industry. I had Nate Kane, who's actually part of the Patriots Prayer now on our show. So I have a different variety of people that come on the show that give different perspectives to things. So I want my viewers to be educated, and the crux of my show is to educate the viewers. because you are no idiot if you watch my show.
I love that. I love that. You sound nothing like, a politician, because, they really just walk around insulting people, telling them that they're idiots if they don't vote
Well,
for
I'm
them.
not a politician.
Right. I know. And it's so refreshing to have somebody actually talk to us like we're not idiots. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. I'll be tuning in, because even if I am an idiot, I want to fix that. All right. I want to say thank you so much for taking your time. It's Friday night. I'm sure you have other things to do, but you came to hang out with me and everybody here tonight. So thank you. And I will see you, I'll be watching you on Tuesday night.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And Shabbat Shalom to everybody.
All right. Good night, Alex. All right, guys, I'll be right back after this very quick break. Like, as soon as I can figure out which button to push.
Born in the coastal plains of South Texas, Smoking Gun Coffee is founded by combat veterans that know exactly what a cup of coffee needs to taste like. Run by father and son, each coffee bean is perfected, roasted at 500 degrees, and cooled with a Gulf Coast breeze. Smoking Gun Coffee hand makes and bags each ounce of coffee for maximum customer satisfaction. With every purchase, 10% goes back to organizations that help veterans and local communities. That's Texas made, one bag at a time. To find out more, go to www.smokingguncoffee.com.
All right, guys, go to smokingguncoffee.com and use code use code MOTHER, and you can get a discount. So smokingguncoffee.com, code MOTHER. All right, that's me, Mother. Based Mother. All right. Forget the coffee. It is time for my favorite story of the week. Walt Disney is rolling in his grave. I assume he'd be upset about what I'm about to say, but maybe he was a monster too. Like, nothing is what we thought it was, right? I mean, everybody was on Epstein Island, and so what do we know? What do I know about anything? But I'm gonna like to, hold on to my warm, fuzzy memories of Walt Disney, at least for the moment. Anyway, James O'Keefe, who is one of the gutsiest human beings we have out there, he went undercover and exposed the biggest case of corporate racism we've seen yet. We all knew this was coming for corporate America. We've been sitting here watching them with all their DEI racism, and our patience has finally been rewarded. Here's just a snippet of what O'Keefe put out yesterday.
Certainly, there have been times where, there's no way we're hiring a white male person.
Just kind of unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken, but
how would they say it?
there's no way we're hiring a white male person. They say
Like straight to you, or okay?
They'd be very careful how they message that to agents.
According to these videotapes, Disney blatantly discriminates against white men in particular.
I think I'm sort of well prepared for it. I'm well positioned for it. But as far as Disney's concerned, I'm a white male. That's not who they're looking to promote at the moment.
As a white guy, even Michael has his own doubts about the possibility for advancement for himself at Disney. In fact, Michael actually got to experience Disney's discrimination against white males firsthand.
I've been at the company 11 years now, so I have friends in HR and I have friends in those divisions, and they're like, look, nobody else is going to tell you this, Mike, but they're not considering any white males for the job. They're just not. That's not what they want.
They even passed over a qualified half-black person for a promotion because they didn't look black enough.
Didn't look black enough. This is legit happening in America. We knew that corporate diversity, equity, and inclusion policies really just meant don't hire white guys and some white women, but conservative white women at least. But now we're hearing it from the horse's mouth. And I wish I could be a fly on the wall in Disney's C-suite today. It's got to be sheer panic up in there. Really, think about it. Only a few hours after this, O'Keefe tweeted that Disney employees are coming out of the woodwork, reaching out to him. And I think the whistleblowers are about to have their day, and Mickey's going to have some splaining to do. I can't wait. I really can't wait to see what happens next, because Disney's not the only one discriminating. So this has to be sending shockwaves through corporate America. They all just have to be sitting there holding on to their seats, thinking, we're next, because we've been doing this too. And I love it. I love it because I've had it with the discrimination, completely had it, as most people have. But so O'Keefe's video is actually 20 minutes long. It also talked about the on purpose gaying up of everything at Disney. So that's why there are gay and queer characters everywhere, and men dressed as fairy godmothers at their parks. Do you remember this guy? Remember him? Yeah, that's the legit one of the fairy godmothers at the Bippity Boppity boutique, where you go and you spend a couple $100 so your daughter can get dressed up like a princess and get attention from a fairy godmother. But this fairy godmother has a beard. Yeah. Okay, Disney. Like, Disney is, one of many companies trying to turn our children into gender confused freaks. But guess what? Lego is in on it too. They just came out with this Pride ad. All right, so my son's old Legos are just like taking up space in my house anyway. Like, he outgrew them ages ago. They're going straight to the landfill. No, I'm not donating them. They're trash as far as I'm concerned. Like, we should all throw them in the trash. Everybody put them in the landfill, and Greta Thunberg can cry herself to sleep over it. I'm done. I'm done with children being introduced to sex earlier and earlier and earlier. Remember when we were told that gay conversion therapy was evil? When they would take gay people and they would try to convince them that they were just, screwed up and they were going to make them straight. Yeah, but that was evil. But now the very people who called that evil are trying like hell to convince everyone to be gay. Like, they're doing reverse gay conversion therapy on all of us. And we're like, what are you doing? Why? But, something to think about, right? I'm not wrong. So we had Disney parks, Legoland parks. Now I can never go to them again because I'm done giving money to organizations that are deliberately trying to destroy our society. Racist, sexual grooming of children, like all of it. I'm out. And if I'm being honest, like, I'm going to miss them. I loved both of those parks. But anyway, maybe Buc-ee's would just open an amusement park. That would be so cool. If you don't know what Buc-ee's is, it's like a gas station. This is going to sound like ridiculous if you don't know what it is. It's like a gas station, store, truck stop all in one, but it's like the world's best truck stop. And they're shopping, and this whole wall of jerky that they make all this jerky, and then they make all their own fudge, and there's like American flags hanging everywhere and like signs that say I love Jesus. And it's like there's not a rainbow flag in sight, and it's like going into 1995. It's just wonderful. Anyway, I kind of am a bit of a Buc-ee's fan, if you can't tell. All right, so I've got something better than Buc-ee's for you right now. I'm about to lighten things up a little and bring in Eddie Smith, who is the host and founder of the Patriots Prayer Network. And he's just stopping by to chat about things like Russians on the coast of Florida. And we got a few other topics. So here comes Eddie. Hello, Eddie.
I was going to go in the other room and go grab my Blexit hat to see maybe if I was black enough. I'm not sure.
You're not black enough to work at Disney, I'll tell you that.
Let me tell you, I'm not pedo enough to work at Disney. It's the reality. These guys get caught hiring child predators. They go to jail and they come back, and Disney hires them back. And it's happened multiple times. I'm not a fan of DeSantis. I think he's a great governor, right? but with the things that he's done as governor has exposed these guys. I'll give him his credit where his credit's due. He has exposed them for who they really are. And I think that the actual Walt Disney would be rolling in his grave to know what they are doing to his name and his legacy.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is what happens when you sell a company like that to China. Of course they would allow these things to happen in the United States and push them. And look at them trying to trigger everybody, right? Look, what did they do with the Little Mermaid, right? All little girls grew up with Little Mermaid,
Yeah.
right? And now they want to pretend like we're not supposed to care that all of a sudden Little Mermaid is black. No one cares about the cartoon character being black, but don't tell me that was not intentionally done to cause a conversation, to elicit a specific emotion, to cause division amongst the races. That's exactly why you did it.
The same thing with Snow White. I mean, look at what happened with the Snow White casting. They have a Hispanic girl, and Snow White was a literally Snow White German white skinned girl, but that was too offensive. The dwarves, they got rid of them, so they took away acting jobs from a bunch of actual dwarves.
They did that with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory too. They got one dwarf. Where the hell are the Oompa Loompa unions at right now, man? This is crazy. They used to have these things out here in Vegas where, the little people, let's just call it what it is. I grew up, my whole life, they have been midgets. I'm sorry. You
don't have to apologize to me. Like, we're Gen X. We've got words that shouldn't still be offensive. I don't understand.
And I hope it's not. And you know what the funny thing is this though? They're the ones that own these companies. They used to dress up in all Velcro, and they had these rooms downtown here, and used to be able to go in and toss them up against the wall. Now, it's just hilarious. It's hilarious. And the funny thing was, all these white libs went out of their way to shut these companies down, and they were all owned by the little people who they took out of work. It was
wow. So they just erased their livelihoods.
A whole thing, right? I'll say it. I don't care. And not too long ago, a couple of years back, at a place of work that I was, and someone thought it would be cool to bring in someone on St. Patrick's Day, a little person, midget, dressed up like a leprechaun, and he ran around the office giving everybody, little candies and whatnot out of his little gold thing. They were little chocolates and whatnot, wrapped in little gold wrappers, coins. And somebody got upset about it. It's ridiculous, man. And we really need to get out of this woke PC hole that we're in, where everybody gets 50 points for virtue signaling. The libs literally live to try to call someone a racist. They live to catch you doing something, saying something, acting some way, defending someone, so that they can pretend to be morally outraged and they can get 50 points.
Their morals are in the gutter. Okay, so yes,
you're
going to get a speech about the guy you dressed up as a leprechaun, but a man who has a mental illness and believes that he's a woman can take your daughter's spot on her sports team. That's morally correct.
If that same leprechaun would have came in there dressed in assless leather chaps and eye makeup and had actually been a cisgender boy, they wouldn't have complained. They would not have complained, because people are so. Look, we are Gen X. We're going to talk. We're going to speak our mind. We're going to say what we're thinking. These people, they're not going to do that. They're so afraid that other people will look at them as being less than, for not being part of what's going on. Just look at, and I bring this up all the time, and I know we're supposed to be on the Russian thing, but
we'll get there.
It bothers me to the core when they try to, first of all, they subvert language. And then every time a new movement comes along, no matter what it is, Alexander was just on talking about Bibi Netanyahu coming to speak to Congress. AOC's outraged. Nancy said we didn't want him here, and all these types of things. Let me tell you something. I've said it on other shows, and I'll say it again. I'm married into the Pelosi family. My wife is their great niece. I know who these people are. She's trash. They moved from Baltimore, where I'm originally from, because her son caught a rape charge and she paid the judge off. Now, if she wants to challenge me on it, someone tag her in the post. I would love to be sued and then be able to actually go and get a discovery and prove to you that what I'm telling you is an actual fact. I know this to be a fact. And I also know to be a fact that Mr. Paul Pelosi is not a straight man. So listen, these people they're crazy. Well, the other thing is, I think that we just got to get back to not giving a shit what people think and telling the truth and letting the truth be the guide. Like you said it earlier, I was listening to you. You said, and I don't want to paraphrase what you're saying, but essentially that, the PC crowd, we put our heads down. We went to work. We raised our families. We read our books. We watched our TV shows and things like that. We lived life. And they, meaning the left, were out there trying to undo all of the things societally that we've done. Look, the Boy Scouts just dropped the name Boy Scouts.
Yeah. Scouts of America now?
Listen, I was a scout until I was 17. I was a scout from the time I was 9 years old till I was 17 years old. The Scouts organization as an organization meant something to me. I threw my coins in the trash.
Wow.
It's trash to me now. When I grew up, if they found out you were a homosexual scout leader, they would kick you out. It wasn't allowed. And although I don't believe all homosexuals are child molesters.
No, yes. I'm glad you believe that because it's not true. They aren't.
But the thing is, we used to have a standard. And instead of coming to the middle and having two sides talk about what's right, what's wrong, and let's have a vetting process, they don't do that. They went from one extreme to the other. Yeah. They went from, hey, let's completely not include any of these people to let's have no standards at all and let everyone in. And you can't do that. We got to have some type of standard. The left has no standards, and that's really their problem. On the right, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, we're going to turn on you. Marco Rubio will turn on you, right? We know this guy said and done things that make him very suspect as a representative. We know Mitt Romney the same way, Liz Cheney the same way, Paul Ryan the same way. We have a standard. And if our representatives in our party don't live up to that, we are going to call you out immediately. I was looking for Tulsi Gabbard at the convention. The entire time I was there, I wanted to talk to her.
I love her.
I just wanted to assure myself that she was real, that what she's saying and what she's espousing now is really who she is. And I wanted to judge her character by actually having the conversation with her, not seeing her on TV, because I've seen the anti-gun legislation she was pushing. I've seen the pro-choice stuff that she used to push, and all of those things. And now to be completely the opposite and taking pictures with machine guns, I'm like, I want to know what caused that. I know everybody changes. I changed. I was a knucklehead too. I used to be a Democrat. I grew up in Baltimore City, and then I saw the light. But I just go so scared of seeing the Mike Pences and these types of people, the Mike Pompeos and all these guys that were supposedly on our side, and they weren't. They were never on our side. They were deep state deep fakes.
Right.
And, so it makes me very weary of people that come from the left, and now all of a sudden they want us to accept them on the right, like Robert F. Kennedy. Like, he wanted to be on the right. Like, we were going to, you want to convict people and throw them in jail for climate crimes, $22 a gallon gas, abortion up to and even after the moment of birth. I mean,
once he said that, I just stopped listening completely. We have to be wary of all of them, even ones that we like. I mean, there's no there.
Yes, do not follow people. They work.
They all do have standards. Even their standards just aren't what ours are. Exactly. The left values deviancy. They value skin color, things that have absolutely no
intrinsic value at all,
no value whatsoever.
I say this all the time, and let me see if I can get it right. The left has no standards. If you stand for something, they won't stand for it. Something like that. That's their own standard.
Let's work on that and come back next week. Okay?
I used to have this whole thing I would say, and it would be like this large tongue twister thing, but it made complete sense. But essentially, that's it. They do not have standards. If you stand for something, they won't stand for it, and that's the only thing they stand for. Whichever which way the wind blows today. Listen, when it was cool to want to lock everyone up and all those types of things, Joe Biden was there putting more black people in chains and in jail than any other person in legislation ever in the history of the United States government in his 49 years, ever. And Kamala is right behind him. And
Kamala, remember her laughing about smoking pot when she had put away hundreds, maybe thousands of people for small pot offenses.
Exactly.
Yes.
And not to mention the man who was left in prison for 20 years, and she had the evidence that would have exonerated him and denied his appeal and held on to that evidence. And that evidence was not released until she was running for vice president. And that man finally got his freedom back. In a just world, if you knowingly hold someone in prison, away from their family, away from their life, and steal time from them, time you cannot get back. You can't undo that. I'm telling you, people, it's that is the worst possible thing.
That's mind-boggling to me. I can't even imagine what it must be like to be somebody in prison who shouldn't be there.
I mean, you can imagine, like any normal human being, if I spend 20 years of my life behind bars unjustifiably, right? My life is pretty much over. Now you're letting me out. I'm looking for the person who did it. Normal people think this way. It's not whether or not they act on it, but of course you have those emotions. You're pissed off. Your kids are grown. Your life has passed you by. You may have missed your mom and dad's funerals. Who knows? Yeah. You can't get that back. These people are evil, and they did it for one reason and one reason only: to ascend the ladder of power. And she slept her way into the position that she's in. Even she cheated on her husband Doug with the mayor way back in the day to get into a higher office.
Yes. Yeah.
People don't remember. People don't know this stuff. And the media likes to try to forget. Just remember back when she was doing the debates with Joe. She called Joe a sexual predator in the debates. Said Tara Reid was supposed to be believed and brought up 8 other cases. Please go back and watch the debates where Kamala Harris is tearing Joe's ass up on stage. And now all of a sudden they're chummy.
They're chummy. They must really hate each other. Wouldn't you like to be a fly on that wall? They must absolutely hate each other in real life.
They cannot stand each other. She is the DEI vice president. That's what she is.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. She is strictly just a paid actor at this point. I cannot open my phone without a video of Kamala Harris having some. They put up some iconic picture of her, or she's speaking here, she's speaking there, she's greeting the queer eye for the straight guys at the White House. It's just constant PR, and that's all it is. There's nothing getting done. Nothing getting done.
That fake White House press room thing with that guy with that tight ass shirt on that had the long hair was doing all.
It's like I want to laugh. I want to laugh about it, Eddie.
It's real. It was real.
I know it's real, but the thing is, like, they're doing this while, like, young girls are getting raped and murdered by illegal immigrants at the same time, on the same days that these things are happening. That cops are getting assaulted by them. We're going to war. We have multiple wars. People can't afford food and gas, and they can't even afford to downsize their house. If they want to, if they're struggling, and they wanted to move to a smaller house, they can't afford it because a mortgage on the smaller house will be higher than the mortgage that they already have.
Exactly. You're going to go from 3% to anywhere between 7 and 9.
So you got to live like trapped rats, and he's dancing up there making a joke at the White House. I'm sorry, I can't even find it amusing.
I think that we're any day now. I don't mark your calendars, write it down. I said it. I mean, the guy is so decrepit, so old, in such bad health. He can't even speak a full sentence. He doesn't know where he's at. He can't walk off the stage, shaking hands with people that are not even there. And he's just as corrupt as they possibly come, and he's weak.
That's all AI, Eddie. That's all AI. That's not real.
It's. Did you see the meme? I meme, therefore I am puts out some great stuff. And she had what's her name, Jean Pierre, with the Men in Black little light in her hand, and she goes, "Everybody, look at this! Psh, what you just saw was it was hilarious. It was hilarious. It was a great meme. Whoever made that, kudos to you. It was funny as hell. But yes, look, we have Chinese spy balloons flying over and traversing the entirety of the United States from east to west. We have 90 miles, 30 miles actually, first of all, off the shore of Florida. We have nuclear submarines. Guys, don't believe the hype that they trying to tell you, oh, it's just a training exercise. They do it. They don't.
We're at war with Russia. We're at war with Russia.
They declared us an enemy
in our backyard. Yes.
They declared us an enemy. They did it. It was only a week ago. Putin came out and said they are enemy. The people in Russia are calling for him to attack America because of the inaction, action versus inaction. I don't know which one to call it that Joe Biden's actually doing. Inaction sometimes is action, so who knows? But the people in Russia are filling the streets saying, get America, go bomb them, kill America. They're in the streets chanting. They're pissed off
because their men are dying with weapons and that we've funded. We're purchasing weapons and killing their boys. Of course, they're going to hate us.
And not only that, Putin tried and offered peace talks between him and Zelensky, right? And this was only about, I'm going to say 4 months ago ish. Biden put the kibosh on the peace talks. Our representative told Zelensky essentially, if you want our help, no more peace talks. But meantime, over here in Gaza, they don't want us going into Rafah, and they don't want the what are you these people are these are same America first. They're using America first in their slogan. We ran into them in Detroit, a bunch of little Nazis over here, basically stating that we shouldn't be helping Russia. I mean, we shouldn't be helping Israel out and this sort of thing. Let me tell you guys something. Ariel Sharon is a damn war hero. He told the United States in the weeks coming before 9/11 that was going to happen before it happened. Otago, the Israeli instant messaging system, caught all this stuff, and they relayed all of the information to, at that time, President Bush. President Bush signed a directive called WI-99Y, telling everyone that they cannot investigate the bin Ladens in the months leading up to 9/11. The Israeli people who had a lease inside of the World Trade Centers broke their lease and got the hell out of there 2 weeks before it happened.
Wow.
So listen, Israel is the biggest ally that we have. We are essentially, with Israel and where they're at in the Middle East, we're essentially have, I would call them, I wouldn't necessarily say they're the United States, but they're the closest thing to us.
That is how Israel was always viewed up until 5 minutes ago. There was generally agreement that was our ally and we stuck together with them.
That's it. If they fall, we fall, because if they fall, a caliphate sweeps the entirety of the Middle East, and then we're going to have, look at UK. Look at UK. If you want to know what's going to happen because of the Islamic uprising, take a look at UK. Take a look at all these cities over here that have Sharia law. You can't read the Bible out loud in the streets because they will arrest you if you don't pay their protection money and you're Christian in their when they have their cities, or I don't know what they call them, their cities, quadrants, provinces. I don't know about the UK, but I do know in those areas that have Sharia law that if you're a Christian, you're paying protection money to them, or they will beat you, and by their own religious beliefs can all the way up into kill you if you do not convert to Islam.
All right, I want to stop right there because I found something came up right before I went live, and I want to show it to you because it ties exactly into what you're saying. So this is a video of a man. This is a Pakistani man who is being burned alive. It's not that graphic. Don't get scared. Just from the angle that it's taken, who is being burned alive. I'm a morbid fan of it.
I watch like Faces of Death and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, I watched Faces of Death and Faces of Death too. Yes,
they had 4 of them.
I don't think I could watch it today. I think I'm a little more sensitive.
I may be. Yeah, I think so too. Me too.
I think I have a little more empathy. But this is a Pakistani man being burned alive in Pakistan. I think it happened yesterday or in the last couple of days.
Honor killing.
He did something to disrespect the Quran. So this guy was being held in the police station for disrespecting the Quran. They set the police station on fire, went in, got the guy, took him out, and burned him alive while the crowd filmed and cheered while he was burning alive.
Absolutely. And this is Islam. You know what Islam stands for? What it means?
To America, and this is why I want all the immigrants.
I got one for you. And I'm going to introduce you to somebody because this is right up her alley. And I've mentioned her to you before, Jackie Tobroff. She has a Substack called Supermom. So you guys are mothers, moms. You guys are going to get along fine. Right. You're both from New York. I would have loved to have you both on the show. So listen. They brought me a story that I didn't know about, that many people didn't know about. I interviewed the GOP chair of the state of Minnesota, and they presented me with all this evidence, and it was all of these people that are changing American symbology from the 5-pointed star to the 8-pointed star.
Yeah, it's happening in city and
everywhere,
state flags all over the country. Yes,
and this is why they're taking away the Native American culture and symbolism, because they're replacing it like they did in Utah. They got rid of the red men and replaced it with the reds. And the orders to do so came down from a place called the Helen Foster Foundation, which went to SUU, and SUU had people that were on the school board. And we know this for a fact. So all of these changes you see taking place in front of your face, that you wonder, why does all these things seem so anti-American? Look at your buddy Obama. He's the one to blame. This all started with him, and it still stems from him. He was just on Chicago U's campus talking to William Ayers before they went and tried to take the American flag down with all that anti-Semitic BS that they were doing. Thank God for Arthur Long and that group of kids that stood in front of that flagpole and said, you do not have a monopoly on this campus, and protected the American flag.
But listen, the only way we're going to get past this and save this country is if we unify, because we've allowed it with the Me Too movement. They divided men and women. Then we had the BLM, and they divided us up by race. Now this whole Palestinian thing, they're dividing us up by religion. Now the gender thing. Now they've taken men and women and then divided us by gender and all kinds of craziness.
It's a lack of knowledge, though, Elena, I think, because what people don't understand about Palestine is, first of all, it was never a country. Palestine is not a country. It's not a place. Let's establish that. Now let's go from there. What is it actually?
That's a fact.
It's Nablus. It's a tribe of Nablus. It's a tribe of Hamas. I think there are like 6 different tribes, right? They're not like one people, right? And they don't even like each other. All right, let's establish that too. And they went into Egypt. Egypt threw them out. They went into Jordan. Jordan threw them out. They went into UAE. They threw them out. They went into Turkey. They threw them out. Qatar is where they are housing the leadership for Hamas right now. But you notice that nobody else is willing to take in the Palestinian people. Why? Because
nobody. Their borders. Egypt is like, you're not coming in here. Yeah. Why?
Because they tried to assassinate Egypt's leader. They tried to stage a coup inside of Egypt. It happened the same way inside Jordan.
Palestinian people here. The Biden administration is talking about bringing them here.
Of course, because you know what will happen if they come here and they start that here. Eventually, what's going to happen is our patience is going to run short. And when our patience runs short, when people realize that the people on the right are the majority. We are the majority by quite a bit, actually. The problem is exactly what you said earlier. We have jobs, we have lives, we have kids. We want to be able to reason with people and intellectualize with people and teach them to bring them over to some era of common sense. But what we're now finding out is that not only do they know what we're saying is true, they just don't care. They don't like us. They don't like our country. And sooner or later, there's going to be a come to Jesus moment where heads are going to have to knock. And I'm sorry.
I said this earlier, though. I said when we start defending ourselves against these people and this violence, we're going to be the ones whose rights are violated. We're going to be the bad guys.
Bad guys.
You can take 100 punches in the face. When you finally punch back, you're the bad guy.
Look what's happening to Trump. Trump is the perfect example of that. He did nothing wrong. They set him up over and over and over again, right? We have Alexander taught me something the other day that I didn't know about the Bidens, and it was really cool. Well, not cool that it happened, but cool that like you can absolutely Google this and check this out, because I did. Hunter Biden was on Pornhub with his niece. Let that sink in. I'm going to say it again. Hunter Biden was on Pornhub with his niece. And Pornhub ended up, through people, saying something about it, ended up taking the video down. But it's a fact. It was there. Anyone who's read Miranda Devine's book, Laptop from Hell, go take a look at it. Wow. They all knew Joe had dementia. They knew these things were going on. Ashley Biden said her dad used to force her to shower with him in her teens. Right. This is a sick family.
They are sick family. People. So Hunter, so we know that Ashley Biden was sexually abused by Joe Biden. It's in the diary, which she verified in court that it was her diary and it was true. So anybody who says, "Oh, that's fake," it's not. She defended it in court. Okay,
I didn't know that, Truth. Sorry,
you didn't know that?
I didn't know what he just wrote. Did you see it? He said, "Allah, the law stands for moon, and it means the moon. Muhammad worshipped the moon god, not the God of Abraham. It's a fake moon cult." I didn't know that,
I don't think that's true.
But it makes sense. Look at the flag.
But
look at their symbolism.
I still don't think that's true. I don't think that's accurate. I've had a lot of conversations with Muslims, and I've never heard of any such thing. They talk about Allah as God, not as a moon god. And they are also, like Christians, against, idolatry of, objects and things. So, and paganism. So
I'm just asking AI.
I don't believe, let's not jump on everything that comes up in the comments. What were we talking about though? Jeez, I'm out of whack.
So, do you have the video of the Russian ships off the coast, or the us deploying the fighters and the helicopters as they were alerted that the Russian ships were off the coast of Florida?
I think I have it, but I'm actually not sure which one it is in here.
I think it's right here. Should I play it?
You know which one it is? Hit it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you something frightening. What I'm about to show you is not in foreign waters. Russia has moved nuclear submarines and destroyers with hypersonic missiles to Cuba. Take a look at this. The Russian Ministry of Defense posted that on social media. This is frightening. We didn't have this happening when President Trump was president.
Andrew, you're right. It's very frightening and it's very dangerous. And what we've seen in 3.5 years is Joe Biden and the Democrats make an absolute disaster of foreign policy and national security policy. When Joe Biden became president, he inherited peace and prosperity. We now have two simultaneous wars. We have the biggest war in Europe since World War II, and we have the worst war in the Middle East in 50 years. And in both instances, I believe that was caused by the incredible weakness of the commander-in-chief. Our enemies look to the Oval Office and they see a president who is weak, who engages in appeasement, and every one of our enemies has gotten stronger, and America is at greater jeopardy than we have been in decades.
That's nuts. And he's 100% right.
Decades. When were we ever in this much peril in our lifetime?
I think in the 80s, I think that in the 80s with the Red Scare, when the USSR was together before they were broke up,
the Cold War, when we used to hide under our desks.
Under our desks. Yeah, I remember
that.
Yeah. I remember those drills. Get under your desks. And
was it really as dangerous as now, though? Were we really in? Because we're in like
I don't think so. Because
physical danger, like on the inside our borders, we're in danger, and from the outside, we're in danger.
And we know that's what kind of the plan is, right, Elena? It was to let a bunch of guys through the border and send them off to different states, all military age men, and we sent them wherever they wanted to go. Even the governor, Greg Abbott in Texas, was sending them further into the interior of the United States. Everybody thought look what he's doing. He's getting those red states or the blue states rather, and sending them to them. Ha 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 ha. It wasn't a get back, people. He was assisting. No, you don't send them further into the United States. You send them home. You don't do that. Trump spoke at length.
I don't think anybody ever thought that in the beginning when this was happening. I think it was. I saw it as now, like you're making me think differently. But I saw it at the time as just like a spite. Like, you want to be a sanctuary city, right. You deal with this. Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody could have really seen how bad this was and how serious and deliberate this problem is.
Absolutely.
And nobody knew the scope of what we were doing.
We had guys in 9/11, Muhammad Atta, who was a member of the ISI, who worked for Omar Sheikh. I know I'm saying a lot of names people don't know, but please realize I'm very versed on this subject. They all were members of the Pakistani ISI. They received protection monies that came from Saudi Arabia, and they came into the United States and received training from the United States of America. We actually were the ones that ended up teaching a lot of those people that were listed on that list how to fly. And Muhammad Atta received several $1,000s from Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, all those things. What I'm saying that is to say this. This was a time when we actually protected our border, and they were able to do this. Now we have thousands of people, according to Homeland Security, that have breached our borders. They just walked across. They're so brazen that we have video of one of the most wanted terrorists in the world walking across the southern border, turning to a reporter, looking that reporter straight in the face and saying, "You're too dumb to know who I am right now, but you will." And then turns around and walks off. He doesn't run. He's not scared. He's not running because somebody's about to get him. None of that stuff.
We just warned again yesterday that a terror attack on our homeland soil is
They would be stupid if they didn't. It would be the dumbest terrorists in the world to not take advantage of running into their enemy's country when the front door's open.
Well, they're here for a reason. I mean, they're here to create havoc. What are they going to do? When is it going to happen? We are in for some really heavy times here.
And I pray for my country because I love it, and I love my countrymen. I love my countrymen who love my country. Let me be more specific. But I'm as certain as the intelligence reports that have came out recently to say that where, how, why, and when we will be attacked are yet to be answered, but I'm almost certain at this point something. Well, they just stopped one 3 days ago.
Yes, bombing. Yeah, go ahead.
And so, listen, if they're not going to come in here and go through all the hurdles that they went through getting here, if you don't think Iran is funding. If you don't think that our enemies in the world are funding these guys and getting them the weapons that they need and the materials, you're very naive.
Who's funding Iran? You and me.
Yeah. $6 billion from Joe Biden. And they said, well, they can't get that $6 billion until they give us receipts for what they want to use it for, like new roads, whatever. I said, a receipt, that's all you need. I can give you that. What do you just want a receipt saying what I'm going to use the money for? Fine. Yeah, here. I might tell you a road, but it's really a bomb. I mean, come on, wake up. I mean, this is ridiculous. Obama paid them protection money. He sent money over on a plane in pallets. In pallets of just stacked pallets of money after they kidnapped 10 U.S. sailors in international water. You know, it's terrible. And I feel sorry for the Iranian people because they, unlike the Palestinians who are exactly like Hamas, the Iranian people are not like their government. They don't like their government. The Islamic Republic does not represent its people. Like, they kill their people. The people fight back and then they can't because they get murdered and slaughtered. They protested Ahmadinejad. They protested all these people. They've been fighting for years. When they were just attacked by Israel and all these people were online saying that, yay, Iran, go get Israel. Iranians put videos out saying, you guys are stupid.
Yeah.
These people don't represent us. And so you have the Iranians telling you that these people are bad and they don't represent us. What more does it take? Just the left, they are deranged. They're deranged. And this is why
they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly.
They do, but their followers don't. They're just brainwashed. I tell people all the time now, man, don't send your kids to college. It's not worth it. Don't do it.
Oh my God, no. Homeschool your kids. Do not send them to college. Or if you're going to send them to college, send them to Hillsdale, send them to High Point University, send them to a small Christian conservative college where they're going to learn the subject matter that they went to learn. They're going to be every single day brought to, morality and values and, the 10 Commandments,
right,
which are apparently the most evil thing that has ever happened.
Yeah, they want to take them down from out in front of the Supreme Court. Even though the things written in the 10 Commandments, let's go through them. Love your God, right? Second one is man, what is the second? What's the second?
First two about God. Like one is like, there's no
love
God but me,
your mind,
no
body,
God
soul.
but me, no taking the name in vain, honor your parents.
Don't idols. It said don't worship any idols was number 2. The last one was like don't covet your neighbor's wife, and then the last one after that was don't covet your neighbor's goods. Just basic morality stuff.
Don't kill, right? Don't lie, don't steal.
Respect your mom and dad.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It was nothing in there that was bad. The 10 Commandments, I would say, are not they are not specific to a religion. I don't know any religion that even says that they're good at all, which don't that they couldn't include those 10 Commandments in. I don't care if it's Buddhism. I don't care what version of Christianity you believe in. Those 10 Commandments, even in Islam, would still be accepted because they're basic truths.
Well, it's an Abrahamic faith, so I do believe that the root comes, it goes that far back. I'm not positive, but you've got Christians, Jews, Muslims, because it's all just Old Testament stuff. Okay with the 10 Commandments, and that's most of the world.
Most of the world.
The devils don't want to have it, and even if you take out the 2 commandments about God, what's your problem with the rest of them? Give me a really good reason why you don't want a sign up that says don't steal, don't cheat, don't lie.
Exactly. And Mecca, in truth, you're exactly right. You don't worship idols like Mecca, and you don't worship idols like crosses, and you don't pray to saints or beads or things like this. I mean, it's very clear. It's what's written in the Bible is black and white. It's when we get into these hairy parts of people disagreeing and fighting over religion, it's usually because a man has gotten involved and religion is from men. I adhere strictly to what the Bible says, literally what it says, like a black and white. If it says it, it meant it. If it meant it, it said it. And that's kind of how I am. But my heart for people in this regard is 100% pure. I take care of no less than 3 inmates right now that are in prison that are all Christian, because the Bible says that we're supposed to visit them. And if I could visit them, I would.
Yes, it does say we are supposed to visit them. We're supposed to take care of widows and their children.
Right. And this is why we were going to do the sponsor Jay Sixer thing. But after the advents about Jake Lang, we're going a different way. We will sponsor J6ers that are in prison that need our help, but we want to make sure that we're helping the right people and not people trying to subvert the movement who are actually Antifa members or helping Antifa members or just doing crazy things. In that whole situation, guys, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The truth is my guide. If I ever do anything that's wrong and I find out, I'm not a stubborn person. I'm going to come right back and say, I was wrong. I'm sorry. This is the right thing to do. And I'm going to adjust. And that's what that situation made me do. It made me adjust. And I was immediately right back at it with the right guy, telling the right story and bringing you guys the truth. And that's just who we are as a network. That's who we are. And I think every one of us, we love our country. We have a belief in God. And we just want the best for everybody. And we feel as though we have a fight in us that is necessary for us to have to pick up this microphone and take time away from whatever else to come here and push that and teach that and to reach out and help someone or tell someone. I hate living in an echo chamber, Elena. I do. I don't necessarily like always talking to people who have the same point of view as me. And I like edifying them and building them up and teaching them and we can have those conversations. But I really hope on some level that there's somebody who's straddling the fence somewhere that hears something that we have to say and it changes them and brings them this way. That's the real hope. That's the real hope. The guys that are on the far left, you're never going to touch. They're not, they know and they don't care. But the ones in the middle.
Every now and then, though, every now and then. So I got into a Twitter argument or debate, I should say, with somebody.
Twitter beef.
A Twitter beef, but not too bad, with somebody with, the trans flags and all this. And it was about my film that I made, American Groomer. It's about the pornography.
Quick question. Did you want it like this or did you want it like this?
Oh, I like this better.
Okay. I didn't know if you just didn't know when to choose. That's all.
No, I just didn't know what. No, right, exactly. Correct.
I think people want to see you. I think people want to see you look good.
Thanks. They want to see you. I are here for you.
So,
I'm having this thing, and he's just telling me my film is full of lies, and I just hate LGBTQ people, and I'm homophobic, and I'm racist, and I'm all this stuff. And I said, listen, you're making assumptions. I dare you watch the film. This is like a total left-wing nut with all the flags.
Do we know that you interviewed LGBTQ people in the film?
Yeah. Well, he knows now. It knows now. They, them knows now. I don't even know what person. What kind of person
no, they, them, it. Oh they, man, I messed up earlier, and another trans killer in the news today killed mom and dad.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But this one said to me, just so you know, you said you can't get through to them ever. I managed to get this person to watch my film, and they came back on Twitter and said, I watched it. I had no idea it had gotten that bad. I almost fell over that I was able to make a dent somewhere. And
that's worth
it is
man.
Possible.
That's worth it. That's worth it. And that's the best feeling in the world, to get someone to go from that extreme and to realize. I used to have the same argument with people over CRT. There are people on the left that absolutely believe people on the right created this whole lie that they're teaching CRT in our schools. And I'm like, no. In fact, they actually are, so much so that there were states that had to pass laws to prevent it.
Yes. But they're trying to get it in other ways. So Barbara Lee, Cori Bush, Cory Booker, they're working on, they have a few bills in play that they keep reintroducing to get sex education in as federally mandated, starting in kindergarten. And if you read the bills, all of it why 5-year-olds need sex education? Can you guess? Because of white supremacy. I swear, may God strike me dead right now. That is what is in the bills. White supremacy has made, marginalized communities confused about sex and blah. Like, it is just gobbledygook insanity. And our tax dollars are being spent to write this garbage.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Who can't you criticize?
Jesus.
No, I mean literally, like in society right now. Who does society prevent you or try to keep you from ever saying an ill word about, no matter what? You can't say anything about it.
Well, I'm going to go with black people.
Yeah. It's a fact. If you have a fact about black people and you're not black, you're not allowed to say it.
You can't just disagree about anything. You can't disagree about anything.
No, especially not being white and doing it.
Yeah.
Right. So, and this is why it's like when you come across folks that are just genuine black folks, I'm not white Eddie, I'm Eddie. Right. Yeah. I hung out the whole time I was in Detroit. We went to a black church. We hung out with Michaela and her clique. I stayed out to 2-3 in the morning at nighttime, drinking with them, talking to them, having a ball, and telling every off-color joke that I have in my repertoire. They were good people. They don't care. They don't play the identity politic game. That is not all black people, and that's the lie. The lie is that this person that feels this way about this thing or that thing being racist, you're talking about all black people, you're not. Yeah. You're not. And not all black people feel that way.
Imagine being so emotionally immature that you just go straight to that all the time. That's how your mind's been trained. It's very sad. It's very sad.
But this one, you won the argument, right? It's an immediate win. I'm having a debate with someone, and then I hit them with, 70% of plus of black fathers were in the home in the 70s, and traditional black values were very Christian. They were very Christian, very family oriented, very respectful, right? And now 20% only have fathers in the home, 80% don't. The crime rate is through the roof because black people are committing crimes in the more impoverished communities. And when you start bringing up the Great Society Act from LBJ and how that affected them, you're racist. No, I'm telling you a truth.
The truth. They divorced God and they married the government, and look what they got.
Right. And it's all due to what Ronald Reagan said as far as the best explanation of it. He said the scariest sentence in the English language is, "Hi, I'm from the government and I'm here to help." And he's not wrong. A government big enough to give you everything you need is a government big enough to take everything you have. So when you rely completely on the government to eat, to live, to pay your rent, everything, you are a slave.
You're a slave.
A modern day slave. Get off the plantation. I wish I had my Blexit hat. It's in the other room. Get off the Democratic plantation. This is what Trump was doing when he was putting these opportunity zones in these impoverished communities. They were giving tax credits to people to go open up businesses and factories and things in these communities to give people a fighting chance. People were leaving the welfare rolls in droves. Black people had the highest salaries they ever had in history ever. That is why the Democrats hated Trump, not because of any of the things they say. It was because Trump was creating a society which allowed people to stand on their own 2 feet and not need the government. And that took away the power from the left. The left exists solely off of the backs of the people that it feeds. And if it cannot feed you and you don't need them for anything, they can't win on policy. They have no policy. They have to win on emotion. They hate you because you're black. They hate you because you're Asian. They hate you because and we don't. That's not a policy. What are you going to do to help people? Give them stuff? It doesn't work. Giving people doesn't look. Give a man a fish, teach a man a fish, right?
Why? So you're saying something so obvious and basic, and it makes me want to flip a table that even needs to still be said.
Yeah. And people don't like it when I say it like this. When they had those signs in the wild when you go into like Yellowstone or whatever, it's like, don't feed the animals. Why? Why don't you feed the animals?
Right.
Because they stop hunting. When you feed them, they stop hunting. Welfare was never needed in this country until they gave it out. It was not needed. It wasn't necessary until we gave it out. It was a temporary program meant for the guys after World War II when they came back, and Roosevelt established it. And now we know there's no such thing as a temporary government program.
Remember what people did before welfare was they took care of each other, like a Christian nation. You took your brother was out on hard times. You either brought groceries over to his house to feed him and his family, or they came and they lived with you. And yeah, there was some inconvenience, but we took care of each other, got each other back on our feet, pulled up. And then they could go back out on their own. That's how society operated. And there were a few people who didn't have a support system. Very few people.
We used to go to our churches on Sundays. Our pastors or priests that are in our communities are actually looked to as leaders. Everyone in the community gave to the church. So the poor in the community were supported by the church and by the people, not by the government. Not by the government.
Every single person, and I have known a lot of people on different forms of welfare, Section 8, this, like you name it, disability, permanent disability, paying all the bills, everything. Every single one of them, it has been a way of life. I'm talking about just like once they're in, they're like free ride. That's it. They are
babies having babies, having babies, having babies.
Even ones that don't have a lot of babies. They I know single people. They just stay on it. Oh,
I have a cousin who could not wait to turn 18 in order to file for disability because he didn't learn to read. He didn't go to school. Okay, you didn't go to school. You didn't acquire any worthwhile job skills to be able to go out and support yourself. Stupid is not a disability. Right. It's just not. If you use drugs all your life, that's not a disability. It's not a disability. It's a bad choice, not a disability.
It's a consequence. You're sitting in consequences. You don't have a disability. But this is what happens. And these people that you're talking about, the ones I'm talking about, every one of them capable of earning a living and choosing not to, because nobody really checks in.
We just need to give them the information and give them the ability to do it. This is what Trump was doing with the opportunity zones. The main thing that I learned after leaving the inner city of Baltimore, where I grew up, coming out west, is I realized that, oh crap, I didn't know this. I didn't know this. I didn't know this. All those same things that I didn't know on how to get myself from A to B within, in a career and standing on my own 2 feet and all that. It was just a lack of information. In Democrat cities, they're not educating you on how to take care of yourself and go get a job and join the proper unions and teaching you a marketable skill. They don't want to do that. They took all of those courses out of your high school. It's the same reason why they don't give you school choice, because the teachers unions don't want school choice. They want you to continue to keep supporting the same broken system that feeds them over and over and over again for not doing the job well enough and keeping you stupid.
How has nobody woken up to that yet? That the data is just so widespread and so available that American schools are failing. And they stand there at the unions and they say, we just need more money. We just need more money. The money comes in. They don't use it on the education. They use it on social programs, free lunches, which there aren't that many starving children in America. So every child in a school doesn't need a free lunch. That's a bunch of malarkey. I keep saying that word because I'm trying to not swear. Mm-hmm. Then we got in Lowell, Massachusetts, they have a barber to come and give free haircuts. They have, this is the real thing, they have mental health professionals in schools now, which every time a child is stressed, they say, well, you might be stressed because you're born in the wrong body. Are you interested in, having a conversation about your gender? It just goes on and on and on with these social services, not education. I mean, it's just constant. It's just training children.
They're creating a need.
They're training them from 5 years old to be dependent upon the state mentally and emotionally.
They're creating a dependent.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're leading them. And listen, I know somebody. I'm not going to say it's a personal relationship, but I'm going to tell you, there's somebody very close to me, and they thought, they were going through some things when they were younger, and they went to therapy. I disagree with therapy. I don't trust psychiatrists. I don't. If I need desperately to talk to somebody, I'm going to go talk to a pastor who I trust. Outside of that, I'm not walking into a psychiatrist.
I used to trust therapists. I no longer do. There's no way you wouldn't catch me dead walking across the threshold.
This young girl who was just, out of the way, had no friends. She was just the shy, didn't grow up with a lot of friends thing. We all knew them and that sort of thing. But went to therapy to try to deal with some of the depression and sadness. And the therapist convinced her she was gay. And that is the reality. The reason he told her she was sad is because she was trying to live a life that was a lie. She was trying to conform to what society told her she was supposed to be instead of who she was. And when pressed hard enough, the young girl told me that this was the idea that was presented to her, that she never presented it to the therapist. The therapist presented it to her.
This is not even close to the only time I've heard this. Exact tale, different people. Same thing. Therapists coming and saying, introducing a new idea and talking the patient into a condition they don't actually have, a condition or a way of life or something they don't actually have.
I'll set this goal way over here, and then I'm going to lay the bricks down on the path to walk you right to that goal all the way until you get there. And that's what they do. It's what they do. And it's sad. And here's the thing. My prediction is this. I said the left screwed up when they did one thing. I said when they went after the children, that was the line, right? That was the line. I think that you're going to start to see people. Well, put it this way: if it were my kid, that some of that things that I saw take place in your movie happened, we'd be having this conversation, and I'd be on a prison bunk. I'm not. That's not a euphemism. I mean that very literally.
Mm-hmm.
And any parent who doesn't feel the same way, you shouldn't have kids. You should not have kids. If you're not willing to live and die for them, don't have them.
Yeah.
Don't. It's a terrible thing. Don't. It's a responsibility. It's an obligation. It's a love that's bigger than anything you've ever known in your whole life. And when someone steps in the middle of your relationship between yourself and your child, if you are a good person, if you are a good father, if you are a good mother, there's nothing you won't do to protect your kid, and no consequence you wouldn't readily accept.
Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely true. But their ideas in some of these parents' minds now of what they're protecting them from are so warped.
Yeah.
So they're protecting them from in their minds, they're protecting them from people like you and me who believe, what is it, Genesis 1:27, that there's a man and a woman, and that a child is too young to decide if they want to have body parts removed. That we believe that they should treat mental health instead of, chopping up the body to match the demented mind. Things like that. So they think they're protecting them from us.
It didn't stop there. Now they have transabled people who literally are going to the doctor to get their hands and arms amputated because they identify as being cripples. And we're doing it. What is the Hippocratic? They got rid of the Hippocratic Oath. Did anyone know this? The Hippocratic Oath is gone in medical school.
Are you sure?
Do no harm. Yes, it's not there anymore. They're not saying it anymore. Harvard Medical removed the Hippocratic Oath.
Well, you know what? It doesn't matter because they're not following it anyway, right?
Do no harm.
First, do no harm.
Do no harm. What happened to do no harm? It's that simple. If I show up to the doctor and I'm like, Doc, I'm hearing voices. He doesn't say, no, they're real. Tell him I said, what's up?
Yeah.
Make friends. They're good. No, he gets you help, get you counseling. You talk to somebody and get it taken care of. It's sad though that we live in a society.
It's about the money.
It is. And I think that you follow it right back to the pharmaceutical lobby, which is making billions and billions of dollars off of these puberty blockers.
Well, look at Lupron. Lupron was like a fringe medication that it has some I believe a fringe cancer treatment use. It's used to chemically castrate sex offenders in some cases. And so how did they take this drug and say, oh, wait a minute, all of a sudden we can make billions on it. We're not making any money on it. Let's make billions on it. And they just created this thing. That's the
The
puberty
problem with
blockers.
Lupron in those types of drugs is that as a man, as a full-grown male, if you just start taking it now, of course it will kill your sex drive. It will chemically castrate you.
Yes.
But when you stop taking it, your sex drive returns. If you are a prepubescent kid who hasn't gone through puberty and you take this, you don't get that time back to go through puberty. If that time passes, you are forever affected.
You actually, it sterilizes many,
Yeah, it
many
sterilizes-
young men.
it
It
lowers
sterilizes. Yes.
It gets your life expectancy decreases significantly.
And these sickos are still going around saying it's irreversible. I mean, it's reversible. It's just a pause. It's just a pause. You can't pause. These people are playing God, and
You
they're
see how crazy
terrible
they
at
look
it.
when they say it, right? You see how they. I can describe almost every Antifa member without ever even looking at them. All these weirdo lefties that talk like that, you can literally describe what they look like without having ever talked to them.
It's really terrible. You're right, but it makes my skin crawl, and it infuriates me to see people lying.
I got a
to
question for
children.
you. I got a question for you because I was talking to a couple of people today about this. Yes, you're exactly right, Toromaktu. Munchausen syndrome.
Yes.
Listen, the recently Matt Gaetz said some things that people took real umbrage with. And he said that all of the women out in the front of these abortion clinics that are protesting these things are in no danger of ever becoming pregnant.
I know, I've heard that.
And I absolutely love it.
Yeah, that's actually so true. You know what?
I'm asking you because you're a woman, right? The people that got offended that were around it when we were talking about it were women. It's just mean. And when it comes to protecting kids, I don't care how mean you have to be. What did Jesus say? A millstone tied around the neck. So you're scared about an insult, and he's talking about a millstone. And no, I'm okay with it. When Matt Gaetz said, well, what are you going to say to those people that are offended? He said, be offended.
Be offended. Be offended. It's very simple, and it is okay. And who was it? I think it was Ricky Gervais. I heard saying, like, how arrogant do you have to be to think that you get to just parade through life without ever being offended or ever having anybody say something that you might disagree with?
Exactly.
I mean, we went from remember like 10, 15 years ago, people like us, we were looking around at young people going, what's with the entitlement? Like, it was just this everybody owes me something kind of attitude.
Right.
Remember that?
Yes.
And we went from entitlement to I can't be offended to like now they've trained young people to just be activists and disruptors every time they don't get something, every time something doesn't go exactly their way.
They're taught by their teachers in their schools and their professors this is what you do.
Like, I miss entitlement. Like that, I could just roll my eyes out. This is insanity. I want to tell you. So I want to. There is a story that came out this week, and I actually have it queued up here, and it kind of answers your question about these people have no chance of getting pregnant, but one of them didn't get pregnant, but there was a chance. So, oh God, I've been waiting all night for this. So, do you remember this guy who flashed his boobs at the White House at Pride Day?
The trans party on the White House lawn. Yes.
I'm gonna let's show everybody because this is so much fun.
They're just
Thank you. Trans rights are human rights. Are we topless at the White House?
Yeah. Want to see it again? No.
First president ever to have cocaine found in the White House 2 times, to give out crack pipes, and have a topless trans party on the White House lawn.
Yeah.
Never talk to me again about and shower with his daughter and have his son have an affair with the widowed wife of his brother. And just, I mean, this family is so crazy.
No, this was the decency ticket.
They missed they should have been on every episode of Jerry Springer.
Well, let's embarrass them. Let's embarrass them. Yeah, I know. They were like the reason the Jerry Springer show was created, right? So let me just tell you a little bit about that guy that you just saw. That's a dude, goes by the name Rose Montoya. And Rose was just accused of sexually assaulting 5 different people. And one of the accusers Jessie Diamond, who also goes by the name Trans Muscle Bear, is a girl who thinks she's a guy. So the guy who thinks she's a girl raped the girl who thinks she's a guy.
All right, I got a question.
Allegedly. Go ahead.
Who's the pitcher and who's the catcher in this scenario? I don't know.
Well, it was a rape. So the dude who thinks he's the guy, the dude who thinks he's a girl is the pitcher.
Oh my God, Mr. Garrison.
No, wait. This gets back. You got to hear this. You got to hear this. So Diamond, the biological female, exposed the story and went and posted an email from the White House flasher. This is so crazy. This is. I wish I could have like background circus music playing right now because that's the only.
We can get you some circus music.
All right. Well, I'm sure I'll be talking about this again. So this is the letter from the White House flasher. I'm really sorry I broke your trust and violated you. I genuinely thought for a while that you were triggered by me simply having a phallus. I thought maybe you'd like me more or want to be intimate with me if I had a vagina. That caused me so much pain and dysphoria. I now understand why you kept pulling away. It's a little more. I'm sorry I forced myself on you. I told myself I'd never do something like that to someone else, and here we are. So just clear. Okay. I'm going to break this down for the sane people because listening for the first time, I had to read that like 3 times to even get through it. It's like, okay, so I thought you didn't like that I had a schlong. I thought you'd like me better if I didn't have one. So just to be sure that you didn't like it, I raped you. My bad.
Test it out.
My bad. I raped you just to be sure that you hated my penis. My bad. It's complete insanity. And to go back to what we said earlier, instead of treating mental illness, we're mutilating bodies so that they can become as demented and twisted as the minds which they hold.
It's population control, guys. Look, the whole time they're doing this, they're flooding the southern border with people who don't have these types of values. So the left is killing itself. They're the same, and they think they're just useful idiots. They were the ones that got 10 times boosted and are pushing the gay agenda and the LGBTQ agenda and the trans agenda, which all ends one way, in death, and that's it. It ends in death. Meanwhile, the people who don't believe in that and have 10 babies, are flooding the border, and you think that it's racist that we use the term replacement theory? It's not. It's exactly what's happening. When Hitler was done using the brown shirts to cause chaos in Germany when he was ascending to power, what did he do when he got in power? He killed them. He lined them up on the wall and he shot them. And that's exactly what these dumbass Antifa members are. That's exactly what these Queers for Palestine are. That's exactly what most of the LGBTQ movement is. And everyone forcing these trans agendas with trans story time for kindergartners, even on army bases, they're doing this. And the military bases, they're doing it.
That's true.
So, where does it end? It ends in death. Meanwhile, your population is dwindling and the population they're importing is booming. And you know what? Those people won't question what the government does. They can be bird fed. You can pay them less. They'll live in worse conditions. They will like it because it's better than the country they came from. It's okay with them. That's why Biden is right now using NGOs to campaign at the southern border. There are literally pamphlets inside the porta potties and all that, in Spanish, telling them to vote for Joe Biden so that the border will stay open. Let me see if I can find one.
I just don't understand what the big game is. We talk about one world order. I mean, is this just like satanic takeover? Because that's the only evil versus good at the end of like the road of looking at all the layers. That's the only thing I can come and land on, is that this is a battle of evil versus good.
If you're a sick individual who adheres to wanting these laws because you want to live in a world that doesn't view you as a sick bastard. And when they normalize those things, then maybe you don't have to do these things in the dark anymore. You know, like they have organizations like NAMBLA. People don't know who NAMBLA is. NAMBLA is the North American Man-Boy Love Association. It is a literal organization made up of a bunch of sick and twisted people. And it's real. That's the crazy part. It's real. So when you see the left giving them names, whenever they give a name to something, when they like they call them minor attracted persons, look out. Right behind that is civil rights. Right behind that is these people have a mental illness they should not be held accountable for. Look out. That's what's coming. As soon as they name it, it's over. It's like the people that go to court that have done something very wrong. They might have killed somebody, might have done whatever they did, but instead of being held to account for their crime, what happens is they get to court and they say, well, this person grew up and he had a bad life and he didn't, his dad beat him and his mom beat him, and I don't care.
Well, they're not calling them criminals anymore. I forget where, somewhere in America, they changed it. You can't call them criminals. You call them justice impacted individuals.
You know why they won't convict kids that are less than the age of 25 in all these weird communistic blue states that like LA, because they say that their minds are not done being formed until they're 25. So we shouldn't be giving them life sentences at 17 because they can't make decisions for themselves. Yet you allow them, when they can't choose their own bedtime, to go whack off their wee-wee. Makes no sense.
You have books like the ones I read from, like teaching them to have sex and look at porn and anal masturbation and all the things.
Hold up, is that a thing?
What?
I didn't know anal masturbation was a thing.
No, I didn't either until I read it in a children's book. Swear on my life.
There's one word I did not think that I was going to hear in this 24-hour period today was anal masturbation.
I have, here it is. Here it is.
Wow, don't tell me you have an instruction book.
In this book, Let's Talk About It, which is in American middle schools. There is a page here with one whole page just on how to play with your anus. Do you want me to read it to you? I can.
Go ahead. I have to hear. This is comedy gold.
Wait. Oh, here we go. I have it bookmarked. See, I have a tab. Okay. And don't forget, everybody's got a butt. After the train has left the station, so to speak, and you've had a chance to wash up or douche back there, you can have an assload of fun with a healthy heaping of lube. Wait till you see the picture.
And this was kids could get this.
This is in middle schools across America, which starts at age 11.
Guys, listen, if you don't go check your school libraries, please check your school libraries.
Right, here we go.
I'm gonna ask Elena to post a list of the names of these books.
See this?
Oh my God.
All right, I could go on, but I can see you've had enough.
Oh my God. Listen, I'm gonna ask her to post the names of these books. She sent them to me and Maurice before. But listen, post them. I want you guys to see them and go to your school, your kid's school, and see if you can find these books.
You know what you can do specifically, even better than that, is go. So you're not just guessing in the dark. Go to there's an organization I work with, I'm partnered with, called Take Back the Classroom. Go to takebacktheclassroom.com and take one of their trainings, and they train people on how to go district by district and get the information that they need. There's a very specific system. You can do it. You can find out every single thing what that is in the schools. And then they train people to then go and fight the school board and get them removed. And they've got, probably 30 or 40 districts listed so far that their volunteers have done this for. And every time they go to a new district, they find more. But there's 13,000 districts in the country. So your district may already be listed on their website. Go check it out. If you don't see your district, it just means it hasn't been investigated yet because they have because they need more volunteers. But yeah, go to them. They will show you how to do it, and you'll find out. In the next couple of weeks, I'm coming out with a series on what is going on in Boston public schools and the absolute horror.
Can I be in the movie?
Vulgarity.
Can I be in the movie?
You want to come? You want to find out what's going on in Boston?
I just want to be in the movie.
It's not a movie. It's just going to be some Instagram reels. But I am going after Boston because the things that have been found in that school district, and it's a massive school district, are outrageously obscene. I can't wait to tell everybody about it.
Let's get you in touch with some of the friends of the show in that area, political, or hell, not if they want to. I wouldn't care if you want to talk to someone on the left about this. If they'll talk,
yeah.
I mean, listen, we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. We'll get somebody on the other side of the issue, and we'll try to get you somebody on this side of the issue, so you have a.
I'm like kryptonite to them. They hate me, but if you can get one of them to agree to talk to me, let's go.
Sure, I can.
All right. I am. They see me coming a mile away. I'm like standard white conservative lady. They see me a mile away and they run.
You cis woman.
How dare I? Yeah, how dare you?
Listen, it's been fun. I actually have fun. I didn't even realize we were.
I know. You were going to be here for 15 minutes. We covered a lot.
We did. Listen, guys, if you're in Florida, we will be attending the Turning Point USA event down there at TP Action Committee. Did email me. I haven't gotten you the dates yet, but they did send me said dates. So I got you. I know that Alexandra had also interest in going, so you guys can go. Also, Dale lives down there with you guys. So all three of you guys can go, and we'll get you some of this kind of I'm voting for the outlaw. Patriots prayer on the back. We got you.
Dude, I can't wait.
So yeah, I mean, we're gonna try to have a presence in wherever we possibly can. Listen, we got 10 shows on the network, guys. 10 shows. We're in multiple days. Some of them are streaming multiple times per week. We have morning, noon, afternoon, evening shows. And I'm going to fill up every slot. The Patriots Prayer is the first ever. You name another one, I dare you. There's no other podcast network on the internet, period, on one channel. We have hit every perspective with the exception of the Asian perspective. Right? It's the only one we don't have, right? We got everything else covered. We got it all covered. But we don't have that one. But, that's not what we're really trying to do, is get like a DEI network. That's not what it's about. It's just about a bunch of people with a shared vision, shared values, who want to change the world. And that's really what it is. And have fun doing it. And we're going to make everyone's connections. We're going to get everyone talking to music moguls, entertainment moguls, politicians, you name it. And we're going to make a huge impact along the way. I guarantee you, within the next couple of years, you're going to see the Patriots Prayer on outside of this network. They already offered us TV shows. We turned them down. Me and Maurice turned them down. He ever tell you that story?
No. What happened there?
So we went on Newsmax Digital, and I guess they liked our presentation and what we were saying, and we got a phone call right after for some people down there in Florida, and they wanted to fly us down to Florida and show us their studios and talk to us and what they could do and who they could introduce us to, and at first we were like, hell yeah, TV show, we're going to be on TV, and we were all for it. We were like, and I'm glad, like, Maurice was like, let's sleep on it, dude. Let's just think about this for a minute and sleep on it. So I got when it all wore off, the nostalgia of it, right, kind of wore off. I got to thinking, they're saying, hold on, wait, they're going to take our followers are going to come over to this streaming network, and they're going to give us 10% of the subscription revenue. Man, screw that. They're taking 90% of the money from us, from our followers. Why in the hell would we ever do that?
Right. Why would you ever do that?
So we're going to have the eventuality of where we're heading is pretty much the way Tucker Carlson already is. We'll have the Patriots Prayer Network, and we will have exclusive content, kind of the way we do already on our locals, but a much better setup, and it'll be through the website.
And more important than the money is the independence.
It's the independence and the ability to use that the right way, to steward it.
Yeah, because you get into one of the contracts with the big companies. I mean, the depth and nitty-gritty of those contracts and how limited you are and what you can say and do is unthinkable. And compared to the freedom of us just being able to have a real conversation here and say things like midget. We said midget tonight, and look at that.
Midget.
If you get on Newsmax and you want to put us on Newsmax, we can't say midget, anymore.
Yeah, they tried that too. They're like, we're going to work with you guys on, how you can be a little with your elocution, and where people don't know what that means.
Wayne's World? It's Wayne's World. When they came in, they took the show was awesome. You had Wayne and Garth. Not that you're Wayne and Garth, but I do feel like a little Wayne and Garth.
They were awesome.
Then they came in and they were like, and they corporatized it, and they got them a neon sign, and then they had sponsorships, and it ruined the show.
Yeah,
they took over. And
hold up, I just noticed something. Taruk, you're at the Railroad Pass. Listen, brother, you got my phone number. Call me up. I got a shirt for you. You call me up and I got a shirt for you. You're in town. No way I'm going to let you leave town without a memento, brother. I got you.
But, and Taruk did say also that he is marked safe from giving himself stink finger today.
He's out at the Railroad Pass, which is out on an area of Nevada called Sloan. That's where I go riding my quads. Out there, that's where all the mountainous terrain and all the trails and all the solar fields and all that stuff are. Yeah, it's only about 10 minutes from me where I'm at right now. Yeah, give me a ring. We can set something up. I'll let you buy me a drink and I'll give you a shirt.
Oh, all right. I think it's time. It's 11 o'clock here.
So sorry, JTV, you showed up at the very end, but we do appreciate you joining. Listen, guys, we don't get a lot of traction on YouTube. Google doesn't like the truth. They don't like the things that we say. They don't give us the kind of traction that we actually deserve. Before we get out of here, I'll tell you a quick story. If you go into the Patriots Pray and you go into the highlights at the top and you go look at some of the original podcasts that we did before they realized how popular we were, look at the numbers. 78,000, 77,000 on one live. That was before they caught on to what we were doing and stifled us.
Wow.
And we noticed it. But even it's stifled, we have over 2,000 views on this live right now. Right now, because people are looking for us. We're breaking the algorithm. Right? We may not show up in your suggestions and whatnot like that, but if you know who we are and when we're on, all day long we're going to be on. You come over to the channel and click, and you're going to get Alexander Levine, you're going to get Michaela Montgomery, you're going to get Nicolette, you're going to get Jay Andrews, you're going to get Two Guys, One Coup, you're going to get Seth Eisenberg, you're going to get the Based Mother, you're going to get me and Maurice. You're going to have somebody on our channel all day long. There's someone there, someone passionate about what they believe, and someone that's going to entertain you while they're educating you, and it's going to be fun. So, guys, if you haven't favorite placed us, if you haven't smashed that like button, if you haven't followed, if you haven't shared, do it. Do it. We are a crowd-funded platform. Without you, there's no us. This was easy to do out of Eddie's pocket when it was just Eddie, setting this up years ago.
Yeah.
It's way beyond that now. It's way beyond that now. With 10 shows, it's way beyond that. So I'm not going to sit here and say we don't need you. We absolutely do. So, guys, if you have it in your heart and your wallet and you want to give to the show, you can do that. If you're on Rumble, smash that money button. and help us out, we would appreciate it. It helps with us going the Turning Point. I think Maurice said the other day, we ate the entire time we were in Detroit.
He did.
Based off of our money that we got from Smoking Gun Coffee. Thank you to Smoking Gun Coffee for being a great guys. And we really do appreciate it. And we are going to do so much more. We will go wherever the story is. Listen, me and Maurice went. I'm not from Detroit. But we went to an all-black church in the heart of Detroit, in the middle of the city, with Brexit hats on, to a Trump speech, and had a blast doing it. Had an absolute blast doing it. And we got to present via our podcast co-host, Michaela Montgomery, present Trump with a birthday present. And it was so worthwhile to see that and be a part of that. And we're going to do so much more. Don Jr. will be on the Patriots Pray within the next month or so. We've been told, we've been given the confirmation. I wouldn't say it if it weren't true, because I know you guys are going to hold me to account. So we're really doing everything we can to bring you the best in podcasting, the best talent, the best guests, the best information, and you always have access to us, and we're always going to answer you. If you have a question, you have a comment, put it. I guarantee you our people get back to you. We're not unreachable. So with that, I yield.
You yield? All right.
Yield.
All right.
No more filibustering.
No more. All right. Well, I listen, it's 11 o'clock here on the East Coast. This is way past my bedtime. I know it's Friday night, but man, I'm old. I'm Gen X. So guys, this is actually
got
so
your
much
name down
fun.
here. Is this somebody you know?
What's that? Who's this?
Somebody spelled their name like yours, Elena Barbera.
Oh, my sister. That's my sister.
You didn't think that I would notice that. I notice everything.
You do
What's
notice
up, Lorraine?
everything.
What's up, Lorraine?
That's great. Oh, she's back. Yeah, she left for a little while. I think maybe during the deep state stuff, she bounced. Oh, thank you, Silent Man, Silent McGroin.
Silent McGroin gave you $10, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Man.
That's
That is awesome. That's
Thank you.
awesome. And we love you guys. And listen, if you guys don't know, the McGroin Nation hosts a channel on Rumble, and we're members of that channel. If you guys, it is the funnest thing. Remember the old days we used to have chat rooms back in the day, AOL chat rooms and that sort of.
Of course.
Man, listen, they brought it back. Go over to McGroin Nation over on Rumble and become members there. Help support these guys because they help support us. And go over there. There's a great time. There's always somebody joking, saying something, talking about what's going on. It's a cool little forum they got, and we appreciate them showing up to our shows. So go check them out at McGroin Nation.
Yeah, and that was the first super chat I got on my shows, I believe, unless I
You're
missed
number
one
one,
earlier.
Silent. Number one, Silent. Here, I'm going to cash app it to you right now.
That's all right. That's all right. Keep it in the kitty for the moment. Guys, this was so much fun. I'm going to be back next Friday night at same time, 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern.
Hold on 1 second. JTV forever. If you go to the rumble.com/the Patriots Prayer, you can donate there. You can't do it on YouTube because we have not amassed enough followers on YouTube for those things to be lit up. So if you really are interested in becoming a partner with the show, please come over to the Rumble platform, even if just for a minute. Go there and you can become a subscriber right in the Rumble platform. As a matter of fact, here I'll do this. I'm gonna copy the link to it.
I was just going to say, can we drop that somewhere for people?
There's the link. Did it go? There it is. All right, there it is. So there's the link to it, JTV. Go ahead and jump over there, and I'm sure that she would very much appreciate it. We would very much appreciate it. And guys, I can't wait. We're going to see you again Monday and Wednesday. We got, amazing shows. Elon, never mind. I was told not to say anything. I almost blurted out some stuff.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Can't.
All right.
I'll leave it at
Elon. I can wait.
I'll tell you when we're off air, but I was told not to say anything. So we're gonna wait till like 24 hours before, and we have a surprise guest coming on
Wednesday.
Wednesday. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday.
All right.
Wednesday. We got a good one on Monday too, believe it or not. Yeah. We're working with one of the owners of Black Rifle Coffee as well, in a different capacity, of course. And we're on their Get Out and Vote campaign, and you're going to start seeing that on every podcast. And they are the ones who also sponsor Triggered, right? And if people don't know, John Jr.'s podcast is called Triggered. This is how we're making the moves that we're making, because people are seeing the value in what we're doing, and they're reaching out to us, and they're like, dude, I can't believe God has blessed us so much. I'm not kidding. It's overwhelming. When I walk into the Detroit Convention Center, and I've never been out on the street and been recognized or any of that stuff. I'm just Eddie. But when we walked in there and people knew who we were and all the stuff, it was a lot. I mean, it was really humbling to know that we've people vibe with what we're saying. And they like us. They really like us, right? So we had fun, man.
Hey, that's how we met, because I was a fan.
So
and I reached out to talk to you guys to see if you wanted to have me on as a guest to talk about the film. About
exactly right. Exactly right. And you had that name based, which is Maurice's favorite word in the world. And so listen, guys. I got another thing working right now for Elena. I just got off the phone before we came on air about an hour or so ago, maybe 2 hours ago, with the owner of Smoking Gun Coffee. They've created a coffee club. So you guys don't have to keep buying it, buy it this time, buy it that time. You can just join Smoking Gun Coffee and you'll be able to join the coffee club, and they'll send you your coffee on a monthly basis. You'll save money doing it. You'll be able to support the show. And what it does for us is gives us an income that we can depend on each month. We know what that is because it's a recurring thing. It's a club that you join. So and they are private labeling the coffee bags, and they're going to say the Patriot Prayer Dark Roast, the Patriot Prayer Medium Roast, all that. It's going to be cool. They sent me the design. It's awesome.
I did not know that. That's super cool.
Hey, it's awesome. Yeah. Those are great guys, man. Great guys. Well, I'll let you get out. I know you tried to say goodnight a couple of times, but I started talking, so I apologize.
Hey, this is how it's going to be. It's fine.
Base sister. She said it's the base. Lorraine, if you keep talking like that, we're going to have to bring you up on camera.
Oh, you have no idea. She'd be great. But
we got to make that happen.
It would be a different kind of show. We'll get her on. It's not going to be. It's not going to be politics and deep state. It's just going to be life. Oh, she's based all right. She's
all right. All right. Another New Yorker, of course. So hey, we're down.
Yeah. No, we were born and raised in Brooklyn, but in a blue collar neighborhood. But like somebody said here, the use of the word based is now being recognized by the left as white supremacist. I hadn't heard that. I didn't know. I knew they already told me I was a white supremacist.
You didn't know that?
I'm conservative, but I didn't know that.
It's not true because I didn't see you at the last meeting. So I know it's not true.
I'm definitely a far right extremist, though. You're going to catch me at that meeting every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, listen, I had a great time. I'll jump on any one of these guys' podcasts at any time. I always have fun with everybody. So I love hanging out with you guys too. And don't forget, Taruk, give me a call. I got a shirt for you, brother. Did I ever show you before we get out of here? Hold on. One of my friends was an Elvis impersonator, stand-up comedian here in town, and he used to do like these little skits on my show. And so I had a bunch of shirts made with me and him.
Oh, isn't that cool?
So listen, man, I got this. It's all yours, True. It's right here. I have a box of them. So I got a shirt for you. Just give me a ring,
You guys got to get together. Go get together. Get him that shirt. Throw the
JTV. If you go to X and you DM me at the Patriots Pray as well, you become a supporter, I'll also give you one of these shirts too. So there's that. What is that? Just got her. What does that mean?
I don't see that one.
It says right there, just got her. I don't know where it was, but listen, I'm dead serious, guys. You know, I got to still send Stuart his Tumblr. I got it here. I've been going a million miles an hour since we got back. I'll send that out, and I have 2 other shirts to send out as well. So I've not forgotten anybody. Just give me a chance to catch my breath, and I got you.
Listen, I don't know what goes on in your world, Eddie, but you do not stop. You are always available. I joined this network a week and a half ago. This is my second show. And every time I reach out to you, you get back to me. I have a question. You've got an answer. Somebody needs something. Like, I don't know how you do it. I really don't.
I multitask. And for people who don't know what I do for a living, I build high rises, stadiums, hospitals, things like this. Of course, I'm not out there with a tool belt on, but I manage the projects from conception all the way to top out and being done. And I have over $3 billion worth of work under my belt in 3 states that I manage all of it. And I do this. And I would gladly, as much as I love that, want to do this full time. So I said this before and I'll say it again. We have some of the best followers ever. And I would rather have 10,000 real followers than those 5 million guys that just click and like the content and they're here and there whenever they want to. So these guys, they're always here. We love them. They're real followers, and we're just going to keep growing like that. And you're the guys that are going to help us get where we want to be, and we'll never forget you for it.
I truly am grateful. Like, grateful for everybody that sat here with us. Thousands of people sat here with us tonight, throughout the night, and just listened to this conversation and chimed in on the chats. And now go, if you heard anything new, you heard anything worthwhile, share it, let people know. We got to wake people up. And that is my I get up every day and say, how can I wake people up to the truth? Literally, that's like my thing is, what can I do today to maybe make a difference and make my country better? And that's what we're here doing. And that's why I'm spending my Friday night here and Eddie's spending his Friday night here, because this matters as much as or more than anything else right now, because it's critical right now. So you being here, I'm grateful, and just go out and don't be afraid to speak the truth out there.
Vote and get someone else to vote who's never voted before.
Yes.
That is your goal. That is your please. That is so important. Get everyone you know to vote. I just got a stat that blew my mind. Less than half of the people who legally own guns in this country vote. That's crazy to me. That is nuts. Please go out and vote and convince someone else to do the same.
How about the people who own illegal guns? Do they vote? Like Hunter?
Sure they do. They vote Democrat.
Hunter Biden? Yeah.
If you I say this all the time to people. They stop gun violence. Well, tell Democrats to stop shooting people. It's that simple. That simple. Gun violence goes away. You know, just Democrats shooting people.
All right, before we go, I cut you off before. We didn't get into the latest trans person, the dude, or was, I don't know. It was a dude. It was a dude. Yeah. He killed his parents.
And shot his brother and sister as well. They lived, though, because they locked the door. They locked the door, and they were on the inside. So he shot a few times, wounded them, but they didn't die. But mom and dad did. And I mean, listen, this is exactly who the left are. The left put the battery in the back of these sick individuals. That's what happened at the nightclub shooting in Florida. That's what happened in Uvalde, Texas. That's what happened in Nashville, Tennessee. That's what happened in Philadelphia. Go back and do your own homework and look how many people have been involved in mass shootings in the last 7 years, and then take a look at how many of them were trans. And you tell me that when you have that many people, over 30 people have been killed to date by trans mass shootings. Over 30. I mean, come on, people. Come on. So do not ever feel like you're a bigot or you're marginalizing or being hateful towards somebody. You're not. Getting someone help and telling them the truth is not hateful. It's helpful. And you may save someone's life in the process.
Right. Nobody ever wants to hear the truth, whether it's, they're trans or they're an alcoholic or, they got something that's holding them back in their life and putting it. No, it's very hard to hear the truth, but be the friend that tells them the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like sitting down and having what do they call them when you get everybody together? Oh, intervention, right?
Intervention.
Yeah. You get everybody to sit down and come together and you tell someone, hey, you're a little too far off the edge, whatever drug, whatever. And the first thing they always do is deny it. Right? That's what they do. They deny it. You don't love the individual that's on drugs any less. The only reason you're telling them about what they're doing is because you love them. If you have people in your family, in your sphere that are in this lifestyle, it is not loving or kind or nice to enable it. You need to be the one that stands up and tells them the truth. 40% of the people in this community commit suicide. The other ones commit homicide. You don't want this for anyone that you love.
Yeah, they have more anxiety, stress, depression, PTSD post-transition than they do before. And their mental illnesses are not treated. And in fact, when you have anxiety and stress and you think you're in the wrong body, when you add hormones into the mix, your brain just starts firing off all over the place. You know how we see them screaming all the time? That's like menopause on steroids. I mean, that's what we're seeing. We're putting kids into the mindset of a middle-aged woman who's bugging out, but just naturally, that's what we're doing to kids.
Yeah. Maybe Trump should come up with like a new campaign slogan, build boobies back, and give everybody the top surgery. Get them all their boobies back. Get all these little 14, 15-year-olds and put them in counseling and do something. Stop acting like this stuff is normal. It's not. People are dying. You know the image that I'm stuck with, Elena, in the one in Tennessee was the little blonde hair girl. She's at the window in the school. And her face is just in absolute terror. You cannot be more afraid than what she was in that window when nobody was coming to rescue. Yeah. And it wasn't but a few seconds after that picture was taken, that little girl was dead. She was 8 years old. You know what Kamala Harris did? She went down to Nashville. She didn't visit the parents. She didn't visit the school. Mm-hmm. She went down to advocate for the Tennessee 3 who were expelled from Congress for interrupting a business that was going on in chambers. And she was down there race baiting. She didn't give a damn about those kids. She didn't give a damn about the teachers or none of that. She went there to stand on the backs of dead people to make herself taller.
This is why I say it's just straight up evil, because the reason she didn't care that they were killed was they were Christians, and I know they were mostly white, but I believe one of the
no black they were black teachers, and
it was a black teacher who died also, right? Yeah. So it was really about them being Christians that made their lives disposable.
Well, that's because they tie everything Christian to white supremacy now. Yes. Oh, you're a Christian nationalist. Let's break that down real quick. I believe in God and I love my country. You're a danger to democracy. You're an enemy of democracy. I hope so. Let me make it clear for everybody. I'm going to make a shirt. As soon as we're done, I'm putting a shirt out and says, I am a danger to democracy, because I am. We are not a democracy. We are a democratic republic. A democracy is mob rule. In a democracy, you would not have an electoral college. Your whole country would be ran off the votes of New York and California. You don't want that. You don't want mob rule. You don't want majority rule, because in a majority rule, minorities have no rights and laws mean nothing. And it's a slow transition into communism. So yes, I am a danger to democracy. I will always be a danger to democracy, and so should you.
Right on. I am also a Christian nationalist who's not interested in mob rule. Oh, all right. Are we going down another rabbit hole? We're gonna go say goodnight now.
Yeah, we can say goodnight.
Okay.
We can say goodnight this time. This time for real.
This is like in high school. Like,
You hang
okay,
up
we're gonna
first.
hang up.
You
Wait,
hang
one
up
more
first.
thing.
You hang up first. I'm not gonna lie. When I was 14, maybe 15, I remember sleeping with the phone to my ear.
Absolutely. I was spoiled. I had one in my room. So I had the wire and the whole phone under the covers with me. And if somebody opened the door to see if I was sleeping, I would just pretend I was sleeping.
Yeah, right.
And then resume talking and wake up, stay up till 3 a.m. talking on the phone. And then I have to wake up at 6 for school and fall asleep in Spanish class or whatever class it was that day that I took a nap in because I stayed up all night talking on the phone.
I was terrible. I used to just leave. Like, you know how people would go to the office and fake, whatever to get out of school, whatever. I didn't do none of that. I just got up and walked out the front door. I was bad.
Yeah. I used to go to the nurse's office and take a nap all the time. I have a headache. I have a stomach ache, and they would lay down, and I would just lay down for a whole period and then get up and resume my day. I did that all the time. I got away with a lot of like stupid stuff like that.
Well, we should have one of those shows where it's not about like news or politics, but just kind of like that kind of stuff. I mean, I would love to tell you guys some of those old stories from growing up in Baltimore that would make your hair curl. Yeah, I mean, we're going to do like a roundtable conspiracy theory show where we have all the guys on. We're just going to talk about all the different conspiracy theories, 9/11, flat earth, all the stuff. We're just going to have fun with it. Like, don't take us seriously. We're just talking, right? And people like that kind of stuff. So we're going to do it. It's coming. We planned it out, and don't forget, we're going to do the watch party too.
Yes, we're going to do a watch party.
We're hosting a watch party
where we watch my film, and then we have a conversation about it and answer questions.
Yep,
that's going to be a great night. Whenever we got to get that on the calendar, because I also want to bring in Karen England from Take Back the Classroom, because she's got a lot to say about this issue. And she and I met when we were on a panel on Newsmax. We both brought up, I was talking about the film. She was talking about Take Back the Classroom, and we're standing there, the two talking heads. And as we're on the show, both of us were thinking, I got to talk to this lady after the show. And within 10 minutes, we were on the phone and we were doing stuff together. So you are going to love this woman. She is just a straight shooter. She will do anything to protect children from Democrats, and she's doing it. So we're gonna get that on the books, and we're gonna have a lot of fun with that one.
It's just sound fun. We have to do it on like a weekend. I think it's the best time to do it because there's going to be a while to show. Even though it's like about an hour long documentary, less
Not
than
even.
an hour,
36 minutes. Yeah.
But by the time the conversation's involved in it, we're talking 2 hours at least.
Easy.
So
People have a lot of questions after they see it. People bug out, and they are just loaded with questions. We're gonna have a lot to talk about.
Truth is funny. All right, we are going this time. We are. I'll let you play your outro.
I am the outro. Do I have an outro?
Yeah, you would use your intro as your outro. That's what we were just talking about the whole time. When your book is what the book talks about, using your intro as your outro, or your outro as your intro.
All right, here we go. All right, you done? All right, here we go. Guys, follow the Patriots Prayer on all the platforms. Follow me. I'm the Base Mother on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. And I will see you next week. Same time, Friday night. And until then, God bless America.
Have you heard of the based mother?